Hi there, welcome to Talk Canicross. I'm Janetta George.
And I'm Gail Walker. We're here today to talk all things Canicross, the fun way to get fit with your dog. So we hope you'll join us, whether it's for training tips, dog talk, or just for fun and encouragement. This is Talk Canicross, brought to you by DogFit. And don't forget to hit subscribe and keep in touch with all things Canicross. Welcome back to the DogFit podcast. Today we're joined by DogFit trainer Rebecca Lawson and also Lara Trewin from the DogFit team. And they're going to chat with us about all things BarkRun. So what is it, some of you may ask? How did it start? And, what's the impact it's having? And also why it's creating such a supportive way for people to run with their dogs. And we're also going to cover what you can expect when you join a BarkRun, and along with some advice on the kit you need to get started in order to run safely and comfortably. Welcome both of you. It's really nice to have you along today.
Hi there.
Hiya.
Yeah, it's lovely to have two of you on the show as well. And as Gail mentioned, Lara, very much one of the DogFit team, a DogFit trainer for some years, and also looks after all our socials, so the one that's there. And Rebecca as well, who you're one of our DogFit trainers, and we're going to hear a bit more about you and your new addition to your team. But before we get into everything BarkRun, there's just one thing that we feel we should mention is that BarkRun is not anything associated to parkrun. So in no way is it part of the parkrun setup. What it is a group of like-minded people meeting at venues where they do run parkruns, but it is completely a social group of people. It's not organised by anybody. And I think a bit later on, Rebecca, you're going to share with us how people might be able to find a local one to near them. So, so just to let everyone know about the circumstances around BarkRun. But let's start with Rebecca, because you're first time you've been on the show. So really want to hear about you, your background, getting into Canicross, and of course, your latest edition, which we know is hopefully not sleeping.
So I have been training dogs and cats for about 15 years now, whether that's my own pets or professionally. And I moved down to Somerset from North Wales 4 years ago, and decided to set up my own dog training business. I was always sharing my runs with Meg. She was a border collie, and she needed exercise, and she loved knowing that she was working and doing a job. So the Canicross was perfect for that. And people were like, oh, we want to do that. And so that's how I kind of came across doing Canicross as like a professional thing as well, and getting other people involved in it. I have just 2 months ago got a border collie puppy who is now 4 months old, and he's called Snoop. And hopefully when he's old enough, he will do some Canicross as well.
Yeah, well, we run with lots of collies, so we know they absolutely love it. And and Lara, obviously you're down in Bude and been running those trails and enjoying the sunshine today.
Yeah, well, not with a dog.
Very true, very true.
Really excited to see how Snoop gets along, Rebecca. And I bet you can't wait. That's the hardest bit when you get a pup, isn't it? Because you've just got to wait it out until they're old enough to start running. And obviously, we always say they need to be fully grown before they can do Canicross. And yes, we mentioned the heat because we're recording this in the hottest day in May on record. And it goes without saying that, shouldn't be taking your dogs out in this heat, even if it's a walk. But yeah, we always share guidelines and on our website and on our blog and social media. So yeah, really important to be mindful of that. But anyway, when it does eventually cool down, because it is the UK and it doesn't last forever, BarkRun. So, Rebecca, first of all, because we talk about it, but there might be some people listening and watching this who have never come across it before. And I think it's a really interesting angle. Jess mentioned earlier, it's different from parkrun, but it's obviously got a special slant because it's, Canicross themed event. But yeah, tell us a bit about, BarkRun. How did it all evolve, and what's the background?
Sorry, I muted myself because this is currently sat next to me squeaking.
We're distracted by the pup.
Oh.
No.
Sorry.
Very
Yeah,
keen.
so yeah, BarkRun kind of came about, well, I'm not sure exactly when, but a few years ago, BarkRun stopped allowing canicrosses. So people were like, well, I still want to canicross with other people. So people just kind of decided to meet up beforehand or in a slightly different place, to just run together canicrossing.
Yeah. So I guess I think it was when they changed the regulation that you can run with a dog, but you can't wear a canicross harness, which is a craziness because obviously that's what keeps you in balance. And I think if I remember, it was people that still wanted a running canicross kit. So
Yeah.
I think there's like a Facebook group, is there, that called
Yeah,
BarkRun?
there's a Facebook group. I think it's just called BarkRun UK, and people kind of post asking where their local one might be. That's kind of where I found out about it, and found that there wasn't one in this area or very close by. So decided to kind of just set up my own, time and place, and people could come if they wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lara, so sorry, Rebecca, where is your group? Is in
And Taunton.
Taunton, and Lara, you were running at one down in Buse?
Yeah, we still are. We actually run on the site of the Tamar Lakes Park Run itself, but we do it at 8 a.m. So it was just, I had a word with the Park Run director and they were really keen because obviously we've been part of the Park Run. And then when we weren't allowed to use our Canicross waist belts, that's when I just thought, well, there's an outlet here where we can still use and combine the two together, really.
Yeah.
So that in actual fact, a lot of people come to BarkRun and some volunteer at BarkRun. So it's not taking away from BarkRun. We can sort of enhance it really as an experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
working together,
what
isn't it?
happened when the rules changed.
Yeah. And anyway, Lara, when you do it, it's like, it's only 20 minutes, isn't it? So, get round.
All right, Gail.
No, if only.
That's
But no,
the beauty actually of BarkRun is that you can just take your time because we go in exactly the same direction as the BarkRun. So, we can be as slow as we need to be.
Yeah.
Or as fast.
Yeah. No, but it is nice. I do agree because it's typically 8 o'clock, isn't it? You do it the hour before, and then like you say, you can see everybody starting off on the dogless version and get involved. And some people might have members of the family doing both, I imagine.
Yeah, we've got a lot that do either the CaniTrek round the lake and then volunteer, or the run then volunteer. And there's a really good cafe on site. So I mean, what else do you need? So yeah, it's just and the park runners are really welcoming, and we have a chat with some people didn't realize there's a bark run before it, so it's that sort of thing. It's educational as well when they see us in our kit, so it's again just reinforcing why we do it and the safety aspect, which I think we'll go on to later.
You mentioned about you go around at whatever pace you like, and I think for me what really stands out is the inclusivity around BarkRun, because it's addressing that, isn't it? Because when BarkRun changed their rules, it's almost excluding people, and
totally. Yeah, and BarkRun's always been about accessibility, and it still is, but ultimately there's a group of people that weren't allowed in, if you like, which we understand the rules were there, but ultimately this makes it as accessible as we can if we have a BarkRun alongside the BarkRun.
Yeah, it's great, and long may it continue. So yeah, we talked about some of the sort of the differences between BarkRun and a traditional parkrun experience. So Rebecca, what are the things that really stand out for you when you started? You set up your first BarkRun. What the sort of the main differences for somebody's who already canicrossing or doing a parkrun and thinking, well, I might want to get involved in this. How is it different from a parkrun?
I guess the main difference is it's a lot smaller, which is nice for some people. Get a bit overwhelmed by crowds, and definitely it's nicer for the dogs having a smaller group of people. Everyone's in their canicross kit, So everyone's on a proper Canicross harness, bungee lead, and harness for the dog as well. And yeah, there's just, like Lara said, there's no kind of pressure to go at a certain speed. You know, some people do come and they do it in like 20 minutes with their dog, and that's amazing. And then other people come and they do like a normal 30-minute, and some people just go around and walk it. And yeah, it's just really nice to do it in a small group of people. It's still a free community, you know, it's still a free thing that's put on. People don't have to pay to join, but it is just coming at your own risk and come and, you know, just meet in a group of people for a run together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think generally they always start at 8 o'clock, do they? Is that like?
But I know ours in Taunton starts at 8 o'clock, same as the BarkRun route. But yeah, we start an hour earlier.
And I guess the nice thing is that you're running with people that don't mind running with dogs, because obviously in a big park run, and I've run at some of the really big ones, even though you're very mindful of how the dogs are, there are people that really are not happy about the dogs.
Yeah.
So as you said, it's just a group of like-minded people that have just got together and decided to do it at 8 o'clock, but on the park run routes, and great that people can walk it as well. Like you could, because you get that at park run, which is the great thing about park run. Everybody is a finisher, however long it takes them. And I guess it's the same with the BarkRun as well.
Yeah, there's no you don't get like a recorded time and an email at the end. That's your own responsibility to record your own run. I guess that's another difference. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, Lara, you mentioned, Lara, about education was a big part. So yeah, can you talk a bit more about that? In what respect did you mean that? Do you mean in terms of just people being able to observe and see this is the right way to run with your dog? Yeah, as well as
absolutely,
helping
yes.
each other.
Yeah, definitely. I think people still don't know what Canicross is, possibly. Trail running with your dog. Most people may think that might be off lead or just holding the lead. But yeah, it's more around the safety aspect. So for us as Canicrossers, not having the waist belt really changes the sport. It isn't Canicross, because we work as a team with our dogs, don't we? We've got a really good human dog relationship when we train together. And taking that away is fundamental to how I feel safe when I canicross my dog. So taking away that waist belt was like taking away safety for me. There was no way I was going to be taking her in her harness, fair enough, in the DogFit harness, perfectly acceptable for canicross, bungee line, but then I've got to hold that. And to me, that goes against everything that I do as a canicrosser and as a runner, to be fair. I can't hands-free move my arms in a natural motion. Your shoulder is very obvious, especially with Tilly. You know, she was a good puller. That's what I trained her for. So once you take that away, you take away the fundamental safety and control that I have with my dog. So it wasn't a backlash against the rules necessarily, but it was totally our feeling within the Canicross community that this wasn't safe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that as a company as well, you know, it's almost they're better off to ban dogs completely, because people have far less control. You know, even on a short line, of being pulled off balance by holding a dog on.
Absolutely. I mean, you cannot. You know, most of our dogs are trained to run in front of us, under our control, using cues. They know exactly their job. And unfortunately, when you take that one piece of kit away that is so fundamental to controlling your dog, controlling the pace, making it a unit, making yourself a team, you lose that whole connection. And that's what, from a safety point of view, for me, I couldn't even consider the thought of doing a park run without my Canicross waist belt.
No, absolutely. And Rebecca, so like maybe someone listening to this that's just for the first time maybe hearing about Canicross, what can you just run through the kit that someone should be wearing to participate in a bark run or canicrossing with their dogs?
Yeah, so first of all, the dog is wearing a harness and this will fit slightly differently to a normal harness that you might just take your dog out on a walk on. It means that when they pull, that pressure is more evenly distributed around their body, rather than putting any pressure around their neck or their chest, because that's a really it's an area we want to protect and not put too much pressure on. And then there's a bungee lead that connects dog to handler, and then the person wears like a belt. It's a bit like a climbing belt, kind of when the dog pulls, the pressure comes from it's more on your bum and your hips rather than your waist and your back, which is it's not good to be running on something just around your waist. And I know with my BarkRun, I don't know about any others, but I take my box of kit with me, and then people can come that have never run in this before, and then they can just try it out and they can see if it fits. And I know some people have borrowed some and then gone home and bought their own.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because I guess what and I know these are voluntary groups and like-minded people running together, but someone coming from completely from you is getting that education and understanding why the kit is designed in the way that it is. So, which is great. And what do you notice about the atmosphere? So when you used to run before in a park run, how do you notice the atmosphere now just running in a BarkRun group?
Oh, it's a lot more inclusive. Like with a park run, I used to go and I'd run, I'd go home. I'm a little bit, I struggle in big crowds, but I wouldn't talk to anyone, sort of thing. Whereas with the park run, everyone is there. They're early, they're chatting. We run with each other sometimes, and then at the end, everyone waits for each other, cheer each other on to finish. And some people go to the cafe afterwards around the corner, and it's just a lot more inclusive and friendly, I think. Yeah. But then if you like big crowds, I don't know, but yeah, for someone that struggles with big crowds, it's very nice.
Yeah, it sounds like the common factor is coffee stop, isn't it? Because Lara
Yeah.
mentioned just a minute ago, so it goes without saying. And Lara, what about for you? What sort of things do you notice a big difference about BarkRun compared to BarkRun?
Well, again, ours is fairly small. We only started it 2 years ago, I think, or 18 months ago, I think. So it's small, it's growing, but people are there with their dogs in mind, and that's it. They're the priority. They're also dog lovers, which helps. I think sometimes you can and feel in parkrun, that you really have to advocate for your dog. Maybe you've got a reactive dog, and to be fair, I'd find that pretty tricky if I was in a parkrun. So everybody is aware of each other's dogs, especially in a smaller group. And like Rebecca said, we're pretty much running together. Very often, some people come for the first time, so they're maybe trying a piece of kit on, and you're helping them to put the harness on. They've never done one, so you can take a bit more time as well. You don't feel rushed. So very often we'll have a chat at the start. If there's new people, introduce them to the idiosyncrasies in the group. One of the dogs just loves to bark when she's on the bridge going over, and it's just, we all know each other's quirks, and I don't know, I just think it feels very safe and very, we feel like we're in the tribe we need to be in, really.
That's nice. And I'm really pleased you brought up that it's beginner friendly, because I imagine some people will be thinking, okay, do I just rock up with my dog? Is this, will I be made to feel welcome, or what if I don't know what to do or how it all works? And from what you're saying, yes is the short answer, and beginners are made to feel very welcome.
Yeah, obviously doing your checks, making sure that the dog's the appropriate age, and that the runner doesn't have any particular sort of ideas of what they need to do. They don't need to be a runner particularly. So very often we walk with newbies, and just sort of, because if they haven't done command training and things like that, it's a little different, but it's a really good way. And sometimes people just bring their dogs to the environment, to the fact that there's other dogs harnessing up, and there's a bit of noise at the start, so it's great if you want to start an event. You're thinking about training for your first event, and BarkRun is where you can do that really nicely and softly, conditioning. So yeah, it's beginners, very beginner friendly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
again-
Rebecca, sorry, Jennifer, I
No,
was only because Laura mentioned about the 5K, getting to your 5K. I just didn't know if, Rebecca, you use the BarkRun as a way to get people from, when they've done their couch to 5K program and you end it with a BarkRun, or do you know? Because it would be quite, I can imagine that's quite a nice way to do that as part of a group.
Yeah, usually we'll do our final run at a bark run, and then they get a little DogFit 5K medal at the end, and everyone's there cheering.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
lovely to hear, because not everybody. I mean, if you've got a dog and you've done a bit of running, then maybe you'll think, okay, I'm going to turn up at this bark run. But then there's also, and I think I would have been like this as a beginner. You kind of like someone to show you. And I know, Rebecca, obviously you're a DogFit trainer, and you take people from absolute novices through to 5K on a DogFit course. And there will be some people that maybe want to do that before they rock up. They haven't really, that's not going to be really for them. And obviously, if you're going to one of your DogFit classes, then you're going to get the real hands-on attention, structured course, and you take people from couch to 5K. And then, as Gal's just mentioned, you can then finish it with the bark run as well. So that's another way for people to maybe, or some people might feel more comfortable doing it that way rather than just kind of rocking up. But yeah, I'm sure there's lots of people that stopped doing BarkRun because they just obviously didn't like the new way that it was structured and how you had to run in the kit. So maybe they didn't even know BarkRun existed, because I guess it's not at every BarkRun. And as we mentioned earlier, there is a Facebook group, which is is it BarkRun UK?
Yeah, BarkRun UK.
So that's a way to find out if there's a bark run in their area. And how would somebody, say there isn't one in their own area and they thought, right, I want to start one myself. Is that easy to do? Is there a process to follow, or any guidelines? Lara? Lara.
Sorry, yeah. For me, we had a really good relationship with our event director at BarkRun. So I really just sent an email out and also spoke to them directly and just said, I'm wondering if we could introduce this. Told them the sort of times we were thinking of and how we'd set it up so that we wouldn't interfere with BarkRun at all, but also the fact that we could possibly join forces with our volunteers afterwards and things like that. And they were really, really happy. I mean, many of them were dog owners anyway, so they understood. I think if you've got people that understand what Canicross is and how to run with your dog safely, then that works really well. So yeah, it was just really a conversation. There wasn't anything, we didn't have to particularly do too much tick boxing, checklisting, but also we do run, under our own disclaimers. And as DogFit trainers, we have our own insurance. But ultimately it is just, you don't pay for it, it's free like BarkRun, and you come knowing that you have that expectation of the run. So you're not actually being coached. So ideally you'd want to have maybe sessions with a Canicross trainer if you're really not sure, but you can come and have a look, have a little go, maybe walk some of it, run some of it. But ultimately it is under your own volition, and there's no set rules and regulations as such.
Yeah, and I guess every park run is different, and some park runs are on hard surfaces, aren't they? And they're maybe not suitable for the court. That course is not maybe the most suitable for dogs, and some park runs ban dogs altogether. So there probably wouldn't be one if you were, looking to join some like-minded friends. They probably wouldn't be the ones that you might go to. But yeah, it's great because it has given lots of people the opportunity and their dogs to feel relaxed, a bit more relaxed, and run safely in balance.
And what about for you, Rebecca? I was just curious, how did you get your local BarkRun running?
So yeah, I put a post on the BarkRun UK page just to see if there was a local one, and there wasn't. I think Lara, yours was the nearest.
Yeah, I remember you contacting me
Yeah.
actually.
And yeah, I contacted Lara and a lady called Claire, who she's up somewhere further north than us. And because she does something similar, and I just said, have you got any tips? I'm looking at setting this up. And both of them gave me some tips, and yeah, I just went from there. But yeah, it wasn't too difficult to set up, but the main thing is everyone is there at their own risk. It's just a group of people meeting in the same place. I've just said the location and the time, and making sure everyone's in safe equipment, and everyone's being relatively sensible. But yeah, everyone's there at their own risk, and we share the park with other members of the public, and there's those risks as well. But yeah.
Yeah, of course. And do you get quite a lot of regulars going each week?
Yeah,
now?
I've got a few ladies now that are actually really good friends, and they met at a BarkRun.
That's
Yeah,
lovely.
kind
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sport is especially great for that. And just to finish, Rebecca, because what would you say to someone that's sort of thinking about it, or thinking about starting Canicross really, and obviously with a view maybe to joining a social group like this? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I say do a couple of things. Go and walk your dog at the same time that there's a local BarkRun on. If it's in a public, when it's in a public area, just go and have a nosy. Maybe approach and say hi if you want to. And also try and find a trainer, a Canicross trainer, to kind of help you get started safely, so they can advise what kit's best. You can try some stuff out, but yeah, definitely do it. It's so much fun. I don't know who loved it more, me or Meg. Yeah, I think it was very equal. It was very sad when she retired, but yeah, definitely just crack on and do it.
And maybe not this Saturday.
No,
maybe not this week.
In this weather.
How old did you say Snoop was again? Now
4 months old.
4 months. So okay, a little bit of time to wait, but the
yeah,
heat wave will definitely be over by then.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, like Lara said, I've been taking him down to BarkRuns and my Canicross Club runs, and we meet all the people, we hang out with the dogs. Sometimes some people will be walking it, so I'll walk with them with the puppy, and that he's just getting used to that kind of environment. He doesn't have to be able to run to be able to get started.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Lovely.
Well,
Lara, what's your favourite thing about BarkRun? What would you say for you?
Shall I say the coffee after and the breakfast?
Well, I think it's ask a stupid question.
No, do you know what it is? It is the ridiculous way that Tilly would prance out of the bridge, because Jane, one of the participants, has a colleague called Mist, who is very vocal when she gets on this bridge, and it's really hilarious. We all just laugh because she does it every single time, and then Tilly would bark back at her as if they were talking, as if to say, come on, let's go. And there was almost a race. So it was always the bridge. We always started with the bridge. And then there was always the poo stop that she always did, no matter what. It's that sort of I don't know what it was, but there was a routine that she absolutely adored. And I think also the humans quite like that too, because they know there's going to be someone there at 8 o'clock. They're going to get to run with someone. Their dogs can have a great time, and then they can go and have a breakfast in the cafe.
Sounds good. All this coffee though is making me feel really hot, and it's in the middle of
I don't know. Iced coffee, iced
glass of water right now. But no, it's been amazing to have you both on, and I really hope from listening, people who haven't done this before, give it, look up and see if they have got a local BarkRun, or even feel inspired to start their own. But it is a great community feel, and I think especially if you can't get to it does make sense, obviously, get to a DogFit training, because you've got to be able to run 5k, but it can also be used as part of some training. And if you haven't got a trainer near you, like you said, you can CaniTrek, which is hands-free walking, and just walk around with some friends like they do in BarkRun, to be fair. But yeah, it's hopefully it's inspired a few people to look up they're in their local area and maybe give it a go. But yeah, thank you to Rebecca and Lara for your time. We'll share the Facebook link for people to find. But yeah, Jeanette, anything you want to add before we go?
Only that if we obviously have got a network of trainers, if somebody does want to go to do that bit first before they join a BarkRun, and if you're in an area that you've not got a trainer, we've obviously got our DogFit app now, so you can work through a Couch to 5K course and then go and finish at a BarkRun. But it's brilliant to hear, and I guess it is in the same ethos as BarkRun. It's inclusive, and maybe who knows. But thanks so much both of you for coming on and telling us and sharing about your BarkRuns.
Welcome.
No worries.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Talk Canicross. We really hope that you've enjoyed it. But don't forget to hit subscribe so we can keep you up to date and let you know when the next episode comes out. Happy canicrossing.